Hello, welcome to our RecapPlus channel with me, Matthew. Today we will watch a recap movie called Repeater, released in 2022. This is a spoiler content video, so please turn on the subtitle and let's start the story. The film opens with the introduction of a hitman named John Smith. Smith finds himself in a tight spot, being interrogated by the Spanish police chief and his two subordinates. What's unusual is that the police chief was actually Smith's intended target, but he managed to capture Smith instead. The police chief is determined to uncover who hired Smith to assassinate him, but Smith remains tight-lipped, frustrating the police chief. In an attempt to break Smith's silence, the police chief plans to use a high-powered stun device for torture. However, they are unaware that Smith has already skillfully removed the handcuffs. What follows is a swift and deadly turn of events, with Smith eliminating the police chief and his men. The scene shifts to focus on a hacker named Howard, who nervously sends a stolen secret file to a friend. This file contains critical information he obtained by hacking a mafia leader's system. Howard then goes to a bar to purchase illegal passports and tickets to America. When he meets a thug, the thug demands the secret file code. Howard denies having the code and insists he only came for the travel documents. As tension escalates, two additional thugs approach Howard, intending to interrogate him and retrieve the code. In a surprising twist, a man named Daniel intervenes and takes down the thugs. He then escorts Howard to an abandoned warehouse for further questioning. Daniel is revealed to be the right-hand man of the mafia leader, who is seeking the code file containing his incriminating activities. Initially, Howard attempts to deceive Daniel, claiming he is not the person with the file code. Fearing for his life, Howard eventually confesses that he sold the code to his friend, Anton. Howard also discloses that Anton is heading to the Mexican border and will return to America soon. Hoping for mercy, Howard's plea falls on deaf ears as Daniel coldly eliminates him. The narrative then transitions to an elderly man named Silver, who is engrossed in reading a newspaper. Daniel approaches Silver, revealing that he couldn't locate the code file. It becomes evident that Silver is Daniel's boss and the mastermind behind the search for the file. Upon learning that Anton possesses the code file, Silver urgently instructs Daniel to obtain it. Daniel assures Silver that he will intercept Anton at the Mexican border before Anton returns to the United States. The story unfolds with Smith making his way to meet his mentor via a boat. Upon reaching his destination, Smith finally encounters his mentor, an elderly figure known for connecting hitmen like Smith with clients. The mentor isn't pleased with Smith's recent capture by the Spanish police chief, a target he was supposed to eliminate. However, Smith defends his actions, emphasizing that what matters most is the successful elimination of the target, even though it took longer than expected. In recent months, Smith's demeanor has noticeably softened, primarily due to the tragic loss of his wife in a car accident. Recognizing Smith's struggle to cope with his wife's death, the mentor advises him to take a break from his profession. He suggests that some time away from the job might help Smith heal. But Smith declines, convinced that continuing to work will aid in his recovery. Reluctantly, the mentor assigns Smith a new task, retrieving a secret code from a man named Anton. Before parting ways, the mentor discloses that Anton will be present at the Mexican border in the coming days and provides Smith with information about the places Anton frequently visits. Smith promptly makes his way to the Mexican border armed with the insights offered by his mentor. Anton, his target, is a hacker responsible for the financial ruin of several corporations. After arriving in Mexico, Smith checks into an inn with plans to rest. He engages the services of a prostitute named Esmeralda for the night, though his grief over his late wife prevents him from engaging in any intimate activities. Instead, they spend the evening talking and watching TV. In their conversation, Esmeralda inquires about Smith's purpose in the city. Smith discloses that he is an assassin with a mission to eliminate his target. He reciprocates by asking Esmeralda about her choice to work as a call girl. She reveals that she has resorted to this profession to cover the medical expenses for her ailing sibling. The following morning, Smith quietly leaves money on the bed while Esmeralda is still asleep and then proceeds with his mission to track down Anton. He arrives at a hotel where Anton is known to stay, and upon entering, he notices the hotel butler acting suspiciously. Smith, who had been alerted to this possibility, promptly points a gun at the butler, realizing that he is the individual assigned by his mentor to aid in the mission. Once Smith establishes the butler's identity, he instructs him to access all the hotel's CCTV cameras. After an extensive review of the surveillance footage, Smith finally spots Anton entering the hotel under the protection of two bodyguards. Smith recognizes one of the bodyguards as Lola Skye, a former assassin known for her cruelty. A few hours later, Smith arranges for the hotel waiter to deliver food to Anton, concealing a recording device within the tissue box. As the waiter enters Anton's room, He inadvertently raises suspicion with his chatter, prompting Anton to order the execution of the waiter. Just as the situation escalates, Smith intervenes, engaging in a fight with Anton's henchmen. When Anton attempts to flee using the elevator with Lola, Smith pursues them. He manages to subdue Lola as the elevator doors open, forcing Anton to escape in a vehicle. Smith corners Anton, and as one of Anton's bodyguards tries to block Smith's car, Smith rams into him, resulting in the bodyguard's immediate demise. Meanwhile, the waiter is being held hostage by Daniel, Silver's right-hand man. Daniel questions the waiter about Smith's and Anton's whereabouts, but the waiter insists he has no knowledge of their locations. Later, the waiter mentioned that he had Smith's phone number, and Daniel seized the waiter's cell phone before ruthlessly ending his life. Meanwhile, Smith is en route to a remote location with Anton, who attempts to escape, only to be halted by a gunshot from Smith. During the journey, Smith queries Anton about his motives for bankrupting prominent corporations and the contents of the file. Anton discloses that his actions were a response to his wife and child's tragic demise 3 years earlier in a car accident caused by a defect in a newly purchased vehicle. The vehicle's manufacturer, owned by Silver, prioritized profits over quality. Smith is deeply moved by Anton's story since it mirrors his own loss. Anton reveals that Silver, the mafia's leader, is planning to sell his automobile company at a high price. The file contains evidence of Silver's corrupt practices, including bribing officials to market substandard vehicles. In light of this, Smith decides to spare Anton and directs him back to the car. Anton continues, explaining that Silver intends to sell his company to another party. Smith, who originally intended to eliminate Anton, now chooses to protect him and deliver the file code to the FBI before Silver's company is sold. Following a lengthy drive, Smith stops at a roadside stand to purchase some beverages, instructing Anton to remain in the car. As Smith pays for the drinks at the cashier, a group of thugs dispatched by Silver moves in to eliminate Smith and abduct Anton. Swiftly realizing the threat, Smith prepares for a confrontation, and a gunshot rings out. When it appears that one of the thugs is about to seize Anton, Smith intervenes to save him. Following this, Smith escorted Anton back to America, encountering traffic due to the numerous vehicles heading in the same direction. In this congestion, both Lola and Daniel managed to locate Smith and Anton. Lola had previously planted a tracking device on Anton's car, which Smith was now driving. Furthermore, Daniel tracked Smith using his cell phone signal. As they approached Anton's car, Smith, who was aware of their presence, instructed Anton to exit the vehicle. In a confrontation, Smith attacked Daniel from behind, allowing Lola to seize Anton. Smith, feeling cornered, decided to escape amidst the crowd. In the meantime, Daniel reported back to his boss, Silver, explaining the negotiations he had conducted with Lola for a $1 million exchange for Anton. Silver ordered Daniel to eliminate both Anton and Lola tomorrow night, expressing his refusal to pay Lola regardless of the circumstances. Smith, on the other hand, sought refuge in a bar to recuperate. He contacted his mentor to relay the recent events. The mentor disclosed that the client who had hired Smith was none other than Silver. Furthermore, the mentor received information suggesting that Silver was merely exploiting them, as capturing Anton meant Smith would also face elimination without payment. Smith believed Lola would demand a ransom from Silver, with whom she had a history, but the mentor contended that Silver had no intention of paying a single penny. The mentor revealed that Silver frequently conducted illegal dealings in an abandoned government project building, which had become defunct due to Silver's corruption. As Smith prepared to leave the bar, Silver's henchmen attempted to apprehend him. After incapacitating several of them, Smith decided to flee. Unfortunately, during his escape, he was shot in the back. Smith hailed a taxi to reach Esmeralda's residence, the call girl who had once accompanied him. Upon arrival, Esmeralda tended to Smith's wound with care, and their encounter led to a passionate night together. The next morning, Smith was startled to find Daniel and his men at the scene. Fearing for Esmeralda's safety, he fled with her. After eliminating one of Daniel's men, Smith and Esmeralda were both shot by Daniel but managed to escape. They hastened to the abandoned building to reunite with Anton. As they approached the building, Smith urgently implored Esmeralda to distance herself from the impending danger, expressing his concern for her safety. Initially, Esmeralda hesitated, reluctant to leave Smith, particularly in light of her sibling's tragic demise. Nevertheless, Smith remained resolute in ensuring her safety and convinced her to depart. He ventured into the building in search of Anton, who was accompanied by Lola. Upon Smith's approach, Lola swiftly fired at him. Afterward, she secreted Anton in a room, returning to confront Smith. Smith attempted to persuade Lola that Silver would neither compensate her nor spare her life, as he intended to eliminate them both to eliminate witnesses. Initially skeptical, Lola ultimately heeded Smith's advice, acknowledging the threat, and departed the premises. Soon thereafter, Daniel arrived at the building, sparking a confrontation between him and Smith. In the heat of battle, Smith found himself cornered by Daniel. Just as Daniel was poised to deliver a fatal blow to Smith, Lola abruptly intervened, saving him from certain doom. After the conflict subsided, Smith and Anton exited the building. Smith was pleasantly surprised to find that Esmeralda was still patiently waiting for him. She remained steadfast in her determination not to part from Smith. Subsequently, Smith escorted Anton to deliver the file code to the FBI. Smith made the decision to retire from his life as a hitman and embark on a new journey with Esmeralda. The following morning, Silver, fully aware that all his crimes had been exposed, chose to end his own life. Several months later, Esmeralda and Smith looked happy, especially since they were expecting a baby. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to subscribe for more content like this. You can also click on the videos on your screen to watch more interesting videos. And please share your thoughts about today's video in the comments down below. Lastly, always remember to stay safe and stay healthy. See you in the next video.